on, everyone? Welcome back to another YouTube video. For any of you guys that are new here, why am I caught in my hand? My name is Levi. I had to move you guys from that angle really quick. That angle was horrendous. I can't believe I recorded the first clip from the angle. Is yeah, let's just forget about it and let's talk about what we're going to actually talk about in today's video. And in today's video, I'm going to talk to you guys how to balance lifting heavy and endurance training. Now, I want to put an emphasis on endurance, and I also want to put an emphasis on lifting heavy, because we're not talking about, simply just running and lifting. No, we're talking about like actually training to lift heavy weights and endurance going far, not, training to go fast, right? So I just want to make that distinct and clear for you guys from the get-go from this video, because it does make a difference when it comes to everything that I'm going to explain in today's video. But we're actually about to go to the gym, and before we head there, I actually want to give you guys my first suggestion when it comes to balancing both, and that is going to be doing your lift first before your endurance training. Now, this is kind of my own personal take. Some people might feel indifferent about that, but my reasoning behind it is it just takes so much more force for me to lift heavy than it does for me to go on my run. And so I want to be able to exert as much force and, pull from as much energy as I can to exert that force in order for me to lift heavy. And when I go for, a zone 2 or a slower run, which is going to make up most of my endurance training following the 80-20 rule, it doesn't take as much force for me when I go for that run. So I can still balance my endurance training, but it doesn't require as much force from me. I found that when I do my run first, it does take a lot of energy away from my body. And so then when I go into my lift, I'm not as strong because I can't pull from an abundance of energy to put in that force. Now, again, some people are going to feel indifferent about that. That's okay, because everyone's different. Everyone's going to have an opinion on what works best for them. But what I recommend to everyone, just based off of my personal experience, is doing your lift first. Now, when it comes to deciding which one to do first, if you're trying to balance both of them, let's just say if you were really trying to increase your strength, you would definitely want to focus on your lift first, because that's where all of your energy would want to go, and vice versa for running. If you were like, no, I want to get like my endurance to the maximum level that I can push it, then yeah, you're probably going to want to do your endurance training first. But that's a whole other topic for a whole other video that maybe we'll cover in the future. Workout was, I shouldn't say it was bad, because it necessarily wasn't bad, right? It was just like the vibe wasn't there. Like growing up, every time I had a soccer game, football game, or I worked out with my dad, we listened to 90s rock to get pumped up, right? Sometimes some 80s, but mostly 90s, like Alice in Chains, Stone Temple Pilots, Metallica, Foo Fighters, like all of those bands, right? And so every single time I'm in an environment where I'm trying to get hyped up, that's what I tune into, and just wasn't able to do that today because I forgot my headphones. Does that mean that we got a bad workout? No, it just means that the vibe wasn't there, and that's all right. But I want to leave you guys off on this before I head out. So a lot of the times what people do wrong when they're trying to build endurance, or they're even trying to put on strength, even just in their own separate entities, is that they don't follow a workout that's actually going to get them there. For example, people that are trying to increase their endurance will just start running, and that isn't necessarily a bad starting place. And the same thing with lifting, like they'll just get into the gym and lift, because yes, both doing just those just to start out will help increase that. But if you're really trying to emphasize on each of those, you need to be following
a strength program and an endurance program, and that's the next thing I'm gonna say. It's kind of like a no dub, but I think a lot of people look past that. So if you're trying to put on strength, you need to follow a strength program. You can't just follow hypertrophy and be like, yeah, my strength's gonna go up insane. Like, no, it will go up maybe a little bit, but you're really just focusing with hypertrophy on putting on muscle, as where strength is doing a certain amount of rep ranges for a certain amount of sets to build up your weight that you're lifting. And endurance is the same thing. For endurance, you want to be following an 80-20, where most of your runs are done in a zone 2, which is like a very slow speed, and then the other 20% is speed runs or just faster runs. And so you need to be following both of those. And so what I'll do is I'll include a link down below that'll have a guide or my programs that I followed for each of those. So there should be a Google Doc down below, and if there isn't, just let me know down in the comments and I'll fix that for you guys. Oh, I can't hold the camera that way.
1 minute, 37 seconds later.
So I don't know how many of you guys are wondering, but I need to put a hat on because my hair is freaking horrible right now. But you guys are wondering how many protein shakes I have in today. I have 2, and I've told you guys before in other videos, the reason that I have protein shakes is simply to supplement the protein that I don't get from my whole food diet. In other words, it really just helps me to hit my protein macro goal of around like 200, 220 grams of protein every single day. So if you guys are interested at all, never had protein powder before, definitely recommend picking some up. If you guys want, I have a sponsor, Transparent Labs. There'll be a link down in the description to get it. We just had the strawberry one. I like that one more for smoothies. I just ordered it because I hadn't had it in a long time, and it's still pretty good on its own, but it's amazing for smoothies. Now, something else that I want to mention when it comes to building endurance and lifting heavy is that you want to eat in a slight caloric surplus. Now, you guys have heard me talk about this in other videos when it comes to anything around cardio and lifting, and that's usually what happens, that you get some cross similarities whenever you're talking about one of those two things. In this video, we're talking about endurance specifically and lifting heavy, but since those are on the basis of lifting and a type of cardio, we're gonna run into those similarities. Now, the reason that you wanna eat in a caloric surplus is because what I've said in other videos. You do not wanna run into the problem of not being properly nourished, because what will happen, let's just say if you are only eating 2,000 calories and trying to train like this, is that deficit will add up over the week, over the months, and in results of that, you will actually get weaker, your runs will actually become worse, and you will actually feel like absolute shit. And that's not good. We do not want that. And there is a way to balance that, and that is by eating at a caloric surplus. Now, the kind of surplus I recommend isn't anything huge. I recommend anywhere from 300 to 800 depending on how much endurance that you are focusing on during the week. If you are doing quite a bit of endurance, you're gonna wanna lean more toward that 800 range. If you're not doing too much, probably that 300 range. That'll just keep you from being in a deficit and losing any strength, losing any energy on your runs. And so that's why it's so important to be properly nourished when you guys are training like this. I know it kind of sounds like a broken record if you guys have watched some of my other videos, but seriously, you cannot try to get away with building endurance and lifting heavy and eating a minimalistic amount of calories. It's just not realistic. And if anyone tells you otherwise, they've just never done it. Ever. Let's go for a walk. I don't want to go. I not want to put this on. I have to get my shoes on. Let's go. Bean and I are enjoying a nice little evening walk. She needs to just get the steps in. She's on her cut right now, so getting ready for summer. So she's got to get going, don't you, Bean? On the other hand, I actually got to get my steps in because you guys notice I can't run, and so I got to do some sort of cardio to basically stay in shape. It's weird, I can walk but can't run. If you guys have been keeping up with the marathon training and all that, you guys know I've been dealing with a hip injury, and it's just been atrocious and the most annoying thing I've ever dealt with in my life. First world problems, am I right? But if I wasn't walking right now, I'd be running, and that's going to bring me to my next point, and that is
going to be, if you guys are going to balance endurance and strength training, you need to separate these workouts by at least 4 to 6 hours. And the reason being is because you're going to just be super depleted after either one of these workouts. You're going to need to refuel. Kind of goes in backs and touches on what I said about refueling on glycogen and stuff like that. And I've done the math on this before and broke down like the glycogen restorage and whatnot in your body, and I can't remember exactly the entire math equation that I had written up, but essentially allowing your body that 4 to 6 hour range will allow your body to fuel up on a good amount of glycogen, which will help you fuel your next workout. So that's exactly what I do. So if you guys didn't catch it earlier, I work out in the morning and then do my endurance training later. I told you guys to do that as well, but the time they need to separate by is at least 4 to 6 hours. Also, I don't know if you guys noticed, it's pretty like dark and gloomy today. I don't know if my ISO, no, my ISO is at 100. I don't know, but it's pretty dark and gloomy today. What's funny about where I'm from, if you guys aren't already aware, I'm from Washington, the Pacific Northwest. We get days in the spring where it's like 86 and sunny and you think summer's here, and then the next day it's 52 and pouring rain, which was literally today. So not the most uplifting state to live in, considering the fact that 9 months out of the year our weather looks pretty much like this. But hey, it is what it is. We do have the most beautiful summers when summer starts, but we are never actually aware of when it starts because it takes a while to start. I'm pointing this out because in some videos, you guys will probably see me record and it's like super beautiful, sunny out. It looks like I'm in like the most beautiful place in the world, and then the next thing you know, I'm in Gotham City. So, yeah. Actually didn't roll out or stretch out at the gym today because I got too busy talking. Told you guys before in another video, it's my social hour. And since Rory hasn't been showing up, been coming up with excuses to why he's not going. He's got like appointments or something like that, some sort of like, I don't know, Achilles injury, tear thing, I don't know. He's all over the place. You know, I just straight up didn't do it, so we got to do it now because we literally have to do it. If I don't do it, it's just going to become a bad habit of just not doing it. So we have to do it. Also, good recommendation, if you do plan to like roll out and stretch every day, do not do it at the time that I'm currently doing it right now, because before you go to bed, it is so much harder to commit to doing an activity just because you're getting ready for bed, right? You're not getting ready to go attack the day. No, you're getting ready to go to bed. So your brain's like, oh, it's time to rest. It's not time to, you know, stretch out every single muscle group and roll out, which is not comfortable by any means. So definitely don't do it before you go to bed, even though I'm doing it right now. I mean, do it if you have to get it in. But this is gonna be a good way to basically end this video and end on the last point. And that is, if you're gonna strength train and also do endurance, you're gonna need at least 2 to 3 days of recovery. If you were just talking about hypertrophy, I would say that, you know, you could get away with maybe 1 to 3 days of recovery, but I would say, you know, you're focusing on strength, you definitely need to be doing at least 2 to 3 days, because people don't realize how much your CNS gets impacted when you are strength training. It gets impacted a lot, you know, because you're putting so much more of a load than your body is used to on it, and that is going to just affect your CNS more than you probably know. And when I've competed in powerlifting meets before, there have been literal weeks after I had like a PR week where I would go into the next week and I was just incredibly weak. And so in my second powerlifting meet, I programmed everything so that the following week was a deload week, where I allowed my body to basically recover before we went into the next training cycle phase for the following weeks. So yeah, just make sure that you're getting your rest days in. And I know rest days aren't fun. I've always told you guys before, just go do something active on your rest days, not something that's gonna, you know, destroy your body, because I'm guilty of that, you know, where I take a rest day and it's not really a rest day. It's like a day where I'm still doing something super intense. I'm just not in the weight room. No, like legit, you know, force yourself to take, you know, a rest day, you know, whether that's a stability workout, whether that's, you know, just going to the sauna,
just find a way to stay active, but not overly active. You know, I get it. It's kind of hard sometimes to take that break, but definitely do that. You know, I mean, your body's just going to thank you, and it's going to help you perform in the long term. You know, I don't want to see anyone get injured or hurt and make mistakes that I've made. That being said, that's going to do it for this video. I'm going to end the night, again, with some rolling out and some stretching. Got to get her done. It's getting kind of late, a little past my bedtime of 9:30. I know, guys, I'm getting kind of old. But that's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys liked this video. If you guys did, be sure to give it a like. If any of you guys are new here, do not forget to press that subscribe button, because you guys know I will be back. And as always, die trying to do what you love. The sky's the limit. I'll see you all in the next one.